Okay, I think we are live, everybody. My name is Bezad,
My name is Teresa.
and we are broadcasting live from Yokohama, Japan, to bring to you the world's greatest, most consistent live stream. 3 live streams in 1 hour. That's right. It's the Wonder Looper live stream with no technical difficulties ever. And we're broadcasting live from Yokohama, Japan. It is Saturday, May 17th here in Japan, Friday, May 16th for many of you out in the West. Let's hope this live stream holds together. We've got Snowy the Cat here. We've got Risa. We've got all the topics that you want to hear about. And we're going to go over them so long, of course, as this live stream holds together. Knock on the wood. All right. Everybody, let us know where you are tuning in from. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, or even if you've done so already on 2 previous live streams, hit the like button again. Let's get that like energy in, and let's bring the community into the chat. Let's let them know that we are back up, running, and operational here in Wonder Looper Land. Of course, in the chat, let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know what you are wearing today. Let's kick it off. All right, everybody. We've got Mr. BD posting like this comment is new. Hello. Great newsletter news. Like for the new space and subscribe for new spaces. Well, thank you very much. Sir Hong says 3 Wonder Looper streams in a day. No complaints here. You are welcome, my friend. Brian, Brian, the fixer of things, just as long as you provide an update on the blanket-lined Indigo sweatshirt.
Yes,
We will.
we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we do have an update on that today. In fact, let's talk. I'm going to get back to the chat, but I just want to cover topics that we are going to cover today because I had a list. Now my list is not on my thing anymore. Oh dear. All right. So I know that we were going. More technical difficulties on my side. It's okay. We will we'll get that going in just a second, hopefully. But we are going to be talking about the new office space. We've got new Super Looper colors to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the trials and tribulations of getting that new office space. A little question and answer time, which is the entire time for you guys. So let us know if you have any questions or things you'd like us to cover.
The Indigo blanket line.
Indigo blanket line updates, sneak peek of the new spring summer colors, Super Looper shorts versus sweatpants, the outcome of our little survey, and I think the survey says
Sweatpants.
That's right.
I mean, I think we knew that last week, but we confirmed this week.
That's right. So, all right, checking in with the chat. We've got Alejandro. Congrats on the new place. I kept my fingers crossed, so I like to think I helped a little. Well, you absolutely did. And Raphael MC, same thing. Congratulations on the new office. Everybody's positive energy helped us to manifest this home.
Finally.
In fact, if it wasn't, I would say that there's a good amount of like the demand for, I'm coming to Japan. I want to shop in person. That has like really driven us to like get the right spot for something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, we did need a bigger space, but we kind of kept that aspect of it, not just like for the space, but we also wanted that
something that's visitable, and accessible,
and it's worth the visit.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that.
We don't have it yet, but. We're going to set it up.
We are hopefully signing the dotted line this week. Yeah. So we've been approved. Everyone's told us about the approval, and we'll talk about that in a second. We've got the Raven watching from SoCal and excited for the stream. Well, thank you very much. Adam Johnson, Colorado Springs is in the house. Arif, good to see you, my friend. Hello from Chicago, the Windy City. Congrats on the office. Fit check, Asagi work shirt. Fantastic. High Noon, Strong Guys, and Wonder Looper ELS white t-shirt. It's a great combination, my friend. I have that shirt. I have both of those shirts. Not the jeans, but I am wearing my Nick and Famous Dirty Fades today. We'll do a fit check here in just a second myself. BD says, today I wore my MIJ10s and my Slub Nep Rinsed work shirt. Also a very good shirt. And I see that there's a little technical difficulty on the screen, but hopefully everything holds up.
I feel like we've come the furthest.
Yeah, we've come the furthest here. So we've got a little warning. Hopefully it holds. Let's just pray for that. We've got Alan saying, just took a flight from Hawaii to New York City today. Was super jet lagged, though I missed a lot. Thought I missed the live stream. LOL for the grateful tech. LOL, so grateful for the tech difficulties. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you, my friend. I would say stay warm in New York, but I think it's warm in New York right now.
It's warm everywhere.
It's warm everywhere. Nicholas Vilpu says, where is the new place again? Well, the new place is going to be in Yokohama, Japan, in the Basha Michi area, right? So it will be, it's sort of an area of Yokohama that you would likely visit if you came to visit.
Yeah, it's, Yokohama is a relatively spread out city, but it is, I would say, maybe the best part of Yokohama is that area where there's the, a little bit of the port action. You see the ocean right up front.
The ships and
that's where that's where historically Yokohama started, because Yokohama is a port city. So Bashamichi technically means horse carriage ward.
Okay.
And that area was, I guess, like, maybe like when we opened up to the Western world, like, they brought the horse carriage, and that was very like non-Japanese, very, new to the culture. So I think that area has the very much of the like old Western,
the first Western influence to Japan area.
And it's beautiful. And the building that we are going to move into is not one of those old historical buildings, unfortunately. But
in 100 years from now, it might be a historical building. But currently, it is a new building. Yeah.
Right. But I think the environment is still beautiful. And I guess we prioritized practicality there, because we wanted to be close to the station and have a lot of room, not so much like work involved before moving in. Maybe a little bit of renovation, but
so I just want to show everybody. So this is going to be the space, and this is what we're working with here. Let's just open that up. Okay, so as you can see, very office feeling vibes, but this is a brand new renovation. We'll be the first ones in this space. So very long, just a straight sort of a room, and white walls. We've got sort of the concrete looking ceilings, air conditioning and lighting is already installed for us. Thankfully, we don't have to pay to install that stuff. And let's just go through the slideshow a little bit. You can see we got some nice windows here. And that's the opposite side also. And those are some of the real estate bros. And Risa, of course. That's the not great carpet. And you can see it just extends out for like pretty long. So we have nice floor to ceiling windows, a nice big long space. This guy's just looking in the corner for some reason.
But put on timeout.
Yeah, he got put on timeout. So from over here, there's a little entryway from an elevator. And the front area, we figure that's going to be the showroom sort of space where we'll have like, all the products on display. So like whether our retail partners are coming to visit or you guys are coming to visit, you can come and see the collection. You can shop the collection right here. And then from like maybe where this guy is standing, like all the way to the back, we'll sort of have like warehouse / workspace area set up. So space for inventory, space for, some sewing machines and things like that.
That sewing machine would come like closer to up front.
Oh, sure, wherever.
We haven't really decided on anything yet, as you can see.
Yeah, but we'll have the chain stitching machine in here as well. So
it'll be
quite nice, I think, once we're done with it. Now, we're not going to go under some like mega renovations. Really, right now, the aim is to change that carpet out.
Yeah,
and
everything else is fine.
Yeah.
It's not like stunning or anything, but we like exposed, concrete, things. And, clean white walls and grayish ceiling doesn't bother us. The lighting and everything is already set up, like Beza said, so we don't want to touch that. It's also like one tenant per floor building. So, we don't have to share the floor with anybody, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
When you come out of the elevator, you have a little
come into
space.
here.
Yeah, but that's our space already. So, you don't have to deal with other businesses.
So, and then we'll be on the top floor, which will be nice. And then from here, I mean, the views are not...
You're not looking at the ocean.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't hit the ocean. From here, you can kind of see the port, kind of.
You can see the, like empty sky.
Yeah. I think in the cartoon we did for this week's live stream, it was a little bit more scenic. I mean, this is what I had hoped. I just wanted people to get the impression of Yokohama, because when you go outside, you will see a lot of those things. Mm-hmm. But it is... I think it'll look nice. And then as far as flooring goes, I think that's the thing that's really going to change up the dynamic a lot. And then, hold on, let's bring up here. So this is what we're thinking for the floors. So this type of wood tiling, I think will give it a nice rustico atmosphere. And here's some like examples of what that is going to look like. So, I mean, aesthetically, this is not exactly what we're working with, but you can get the idea here.
Yeah, we just wanted to make it a little more cozy.
Yeah.
Just a little less, I don't know, professional office.
Right. Yeah, and and the fact that the tiles are already kind of a little worn. I don't mind, if they get scratched up a little bit, it doesn't bother me so much. So that's sort of the idea. We didn't want to go with like a plain floor. So a nice sort of diamond patterned wood floor, I think is going to be, that's what we would like. Now they're kind of, I don't know, I find that they're a little pricey, but that's sort of the splurge that we're going to go with this one. Now, speaking of splurges, boy, hey, Snowy, we've got a lot of splurges to cover in the next couple of days.
It seems that way.
Yeah, so renting a space here in Japan is quite fun. If you've never experienced it before, for those, I know there's a couple of people here in the chat who live in Japan, and they probably know what it's all about.
Oh, but it's worse with the commercial real estate.
Yeah, well, let's get into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you live in Japan, you've rented places in Japan, you know about, security deposit, I think it's worldwide. You have to pay a little bit of money as a deposit to put down in case you just, destroy the place and run away. They have some money to fix the place up. In commercial real estate, it's very common to have very high number of high amount of security deposit. In this particular spot, I'm just gonna say it because it's not a secret, but it's 6 months rent upfront, and this is not unheard of. I've seen up to 12 months rent, a 1 year rent for security deposit.
Upfront cash.
Yeah. Usually in like personal moves, housing, it's not. 6 months is ridiculous because everybody will go
broke
to the poorhouse. Yeah. So that's one thing. Oftentimes with the commercial real estate, they keep some of it as you're not gonna get it back. You're gonna forfeit 2 months of it or something like that. In this particular case, they don't have that, so it's actually very nice.
Yeah. I am skeptical though, because I just find that at some point they're probably gonna like when.
Obviously they will, but it's the same with even if you have like one that you forfeit, they're gonna also take from the ones that you didn't, the parts that you didn't forfeit.
Right.
So either way, you're screwed when you move out. Oops. I'm just gonna handle this.
Okay.
Right? And then the key money.
So this is my favorite part of Japan.
Yes.
Is key money.
I don't know who translated this key money thing, but it is basically a thank you money. It literally is called reikin. That means thank you money.
Yeah.
It's like a bonus for the, I guess, owner of the property.
Yeah.
Because you are. I read, I don't know how true that is, but I read that back in the days, like, this is because, like, you know, if you're renting an apartment, you know, oftentimes it's like a very small place. Maybe you don't have a full kitchen or anything like that. And part of it is, like, you're a student. Like, if you're renting from a landlord might, like, you know, take care of you in terms of, like, sometimes they'll cook you a meal or, like, you know, share something with you, like, you know, fruits or something like that. So that's kind of like, thank you for taking care of me, taking me in kind of a situation. But obviously...
They aren't doing that anymore.
These days, the owners are not taking care of you. They just take your money.
Yeah, they just like they liked the money part, but the you know, running the hot bath for me, they're not doing that for me anymore.
Right, exactly. So that is, but just, you know, something that's left as a tradition, and it's not uncommon to see that.
Right.
So that's 1 month's rent. And on top of that, because it's especially for commercial real estate, like they're the company that guarantees the renter's rent. So as a landlord, you're not risking if somebody doesn't pay rent, you're still covered through the guarantee company. And then with commercial real estate, that's for personal too, but with commercial real estate, it's normal to like kind of have a high fee starting at the like start of the contract, and that's 1 month for us, which, you know, is not great because, you know, this guarantee thing, it's only helping the landlord, it's not helping us.
Right. And the landlord has half a year's rent plus the key money already, and now you need another guarantor.
Guarantor, that's a third-party company, and, you know, they do the credit checks on you and all that stuff. So, you know, they're not really risking much, because if they deemed risky, they wouldn't say it's approved. So I feel like that's, you know, one of those things that I don't like. And then, of course, real estate agent would take 1 month's rent.
Right.
So that is, I can't keep count. It's almost like, you know, 9 months rent.
Yeah,
I guess,
something like
right
that.
Right out the door at the beginning. And, you know, on top of that, obviously the cost of moving, the cost of, you know, renovation, and cost of furnishing the place. Moving is expensive in general, no matter where you go. But this, in Japan, commercial office rental, it is very expensive.
Yeah, very pricey. And for me, it's like all these extra months fees that just seem to go in every which way direction. Like, if the rent was less, they would obviously take, you know, it would be less of a fee. It's the same work, but if the rent was less, then they take less of a fee.
Exactly. And that's like the problem we were talking about yesterday, is that, like, you know, I appreciated our real estate agent. He did you know, good work. Yeah. But, you know, it's like if we rented a place that's half the price, I don't think he would have done any worse work. Right. For instance, the current office that we rent, which is like very small portion of the new rent, the guy did, you know, same. It's not the same person, but they did basically the same amount of work. So I just feel like it's a little bit of a, I don't know.
It's a racket. I don't know. Maybe that's not even the right word, but it just the fees just keep like adding up, and it's like 1 month here, 1 month there, and it's like, oh, you want sunshine? Well, you're gonna pay another month's rent. You want air to breathe? Yeah, here's another month's rent. look,
it just feels that way when it piles up. But when we were talking about this last night, I just kind of had this like, it's like everybody feels like this is not something that we want to deal with, especially things like key money, or it's just like old traditions that we don't need anymore.
But I would have no problem with the tradition if the key money was because the landlord took care of you and this and that.
If it applies.
Okay, yes, what? Take care of me then, and then it makes it. It's like, imagine tipping someone and you didn't even go to the restaurant. Right? Like, to me, that's the way that sort of feels. It's like, if you're going to provide the service, you get the tip. But if you're not going to provide the service at all, like, that's a completely different thing. But, it's nice to want those traditions to stick around when it benefits you completely. But anyhow.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's just everybody feels this way when they have to move. But, obviously when they have to move. So they deal with it, just get over it. Yeah. And then you just don't go back and fight that later. So we're just, to be honest, we couldn't be that picky at this point. Yeah, we couldn't negotiate too hard because this literally is like...
Yeah, it's like crunch time for us.
Yeah. So we decided to just, not fight too hard. We did negotiate. Like, they gave us a little bit of a leeway, but all these months' rent, it's going out.
Yeah. It's... sometimes in life when these things sort of happen, it's just, to me, it's just life tax. Mm-hmm. It's like, it sucks. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You can whine, at the very least, I can whine about it.
Yeah.
I can whine about it, and I will. I don't have to like it, but I got to do it. And if I have to do it, I'm going to get something out of it. And for me, that means whining. And that means sharing my wine with all of you. I hope you have a nice cheese platter to go with it, and we can enjoy learning about some of the oddities in Japan. The similar thing does happen in like not commercial real estate, but like personal real, like if you're gonna move apartments and things like that. So like key money generally applies, like large deposits, and like you see like people don't like to move around a lot because it's like, oh, you might find cheaper rent somewhere else, but cheaper rent somewhere else also means, okay, well, I gotta move out of my current apartment. I gotta recoup whatever amount of deposit that I gave them. And believe me, in Japan, there's no such thing as depreciation. When they rent you an apartment, they expect it back exactly as they gave it to you. Like, you scratched the floor. Okay, well, that's $1,000. It's like, no, it's not. Yes, it is, right? Oh, you put a painting on the wall. You put a picture on the wall and put a little thumbtack hole there. No. We got to rip the whole wall down. We got to take that whole wall down. A new wall has to go up. That's going to be $2,000. So they will find every which way to make a slight repair, a big repair, even if they even repair it or not, but to charge you for it. So it does get a little tricky and scary here with rental apartments.
Yeah.
Nicholas Vilpu, he lives in Japan. He says, I've had to for my apartments. Yeah, it's oh wait, Nicholas says, and then sorry.
Oh really? When you renew the lease, you have to pay key money again. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, that's mega annoying. Oh, you have a 2-year lease, and you'd like to continue living here? You'd like to continue giving me money? Well, you should give me a present so that I take your money instead of going through the hassle myself of trying to find a new tenant. It is nuts. So
it is nuts. It is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But with that said, obviously, like certain things we don't agree with, but ultimately our move is so that we can carry more stock and so that we can grow as a business.
Yeah.
So, everything that we're spending here will eventually,
hopefully multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
help
the hope.
Us in the long run. So, of course it hurts right now because we're not there yet and we have to pay, so much to get there. But hopefully we'll get there and we'll have more stock. We have more visitors, please visit.
Yeah.
Because it's I mean, we are doing this for all of those reasons. So just hopefully we will.
Yeah.
This is just a field of dreams for us, I guess.
That's it. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told, and I've not been let down by lessons learned from movies yet. They all come true.
Are you sure you haven't watched a movie that's...
Nope.
Okay.
Rocky always wins. Even when he loses, he wins.
Okay.
Rambo always wins. What more do you need? What other life lessons do you need?
I don't know.
That's it. You can model your whole life after those 2 movies, and you're good.
I've seen some depressing movies, that's why.
You shouldn't watch those.
Okay.
But that's it. I mean, as far as the rest of it, it's like, investing in furniture and things like that. I just remember thinking, oh, we're going to buy this, we're going to buy that, oh, this couch, oh, I really want this couch, and like, now that like all this money is coming out of our bank account all at once, on top of the fact that we're paying for the fall production right now. So like, just there's a ton of like our cash, like our business cash, just going out the door, and it's not an amount of money that I ever thought I'd be comfortable just handing over in one shot.
Not a personal amount of money, yes.
Yeah.
Business. But yes, I mean, yes, it is a very like financially crunch time for us.
Yeah.
But you can get over it.
I can't buy that Eames couch that I wanted.
No, right now.
Yeah. Also, just gonna put it out there, a lot more expensive than I thought it was gonna be. Just a lot more.
The price keeps going up.
Yeah. And so.
And the price of vintage ones are also going up. So it's like you have no.
But I think the problem here in Japan with American vintage is that it's just not as accessible as in America, right? So like what you might see for a price for like a vintage couch from like this brand or that, sort of, designer, office brand, in the States, you can generally find them for like, my opinion is good prices, but in Japan, not at all.
Yeah.
Because they're so few and far between, the prices are bonkers.
Yeah. And also like, even like, I mean, there are people who have had like, Herman Miller, Eames stuff like from long time ago, but like I feel like in America there's like just non-brand like known brand mid-century, because they were mid-century furnitures in that time. So even if it's not like a famous brand, like you could get that style vintage like for
relatively
real.
easy. Yeah.
Whereas like that doesn't exist here.
Yeah.
In mid-century in this country, we're not using mid-century furniture.
Right.
So.
Mid-century in this country, they were rebuilding. There just wasn't that stuff wasn't here.
Yes.
Right.
No,
so
it's hard to even find like a real mid-century furniture.
Yeah. Boris says Herman Miller all around. At least these chairs. I mean, these are the Aeron chairs, and I really like these. But these generally I can find secondhand for a reasonable price here in
every
Japan.
office got bazillion, and whenever they downsize or go out of business, there's a lot that ends up in the secondhand market.
So there's a lot of good like secondhand office supply stores, and which is great because you can get these for an okay price. But they're not like, I have yet to find like a apparel retail secondhand store where they have like this and that. But mind you, like these are probably the racks that we'll have in the store, which we'll get a couple more of those. Anyway, we have some ideas, but we're for now, I don't think we're gonna go and aim for the touchdown on everything. We'll just sort of build it up piece by piece.
Yeah, I think I'll prioritize floor, because once we move in, we're not going to change the floor. So floor is going to be brand new before we move in, and then we're going to
I think we'll get there.
Yeah.
Nicholas Vilpu says, where do you find them secondhand in Japan? The Aerons, you are going to find these at Office Busters. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if this fixes our video. It might. It might. I saw it froze for a sec, so just stick around with us, guys. But there is a retail store here in Japan called Office Busters, and they have generally a good amount of Aeron chairs and office supplies second hand. Okay. John Akes says, I work in architecture and got a new Aeron for like 50% off. They're super pricey at retail. They are. And I think their aim is to really target the office.
Like large companies' office.
When Amazon opens up an office and needs 500 chairs or 2,500 chairs, they might buy these from them. And so I feel, in my heart of hearts, I feel like the reason why the prices are so high is generally because they target that mega business industry. And then, when you're buying 500 of them, they can offer you a discount, which is really just their way of trying to see how much money they can squeeze out of you instead of just offering the price at the price.
Right.
Okay. David Hunter says, Herman Miller sucks. It's smoke and mirrors. Their quality is awful. IKEA for rich people. I wholeheartedly disagree. I don't think so. These chairs are fantastic, and I feel that a lot of their office furniture, as pricey as it is, and I'm going to say some of it is very pricey, quality-wise, the build quality is very good. You get a good warranty with it, and as far as styling, and I will even go further as to say as far as the value that it holds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I think that's the thing with, IKEA furniture. As much as it's good value, you can, especially if you're younger, you can get started without, having to pay so much money for furniture. Because, before IKEA, it was you didn't have an option.
Yeah.
But with that said, as soon as you are done with IKEA furniture, the resale value is not there at all. It's almost zero.
Yeah.
Sometimes it costs money to throw it away. So instead of that, this chair, we've been using for 5 years, maybe, even after we use for another 5 years, there will be some value left.
And also, this particular chair is, I think, over 20 years old. This is a secondhand one. This is a used one. This one also is. And functionality, perfect. I think I only had to it was creaking a little bit, so I hit it with some lubricant, and that was it. I've never had a problem with this chair, and it's very versatile, very comfortable.
There's a reason why all the offices choose this chair, I think.
Yeah. David also says, I don't get the Aeron chair. I'd rather have an Eames executive or management chair. Yes, those are very nice chairs too. In fact, for the new space, we were thinking, we're thinking about those.
If we can find good prices.
If we can find a good price. Those are significantly more expensive. And even on the secondhand market, they're much less available than these are. These are the Office Master, and number one, I like the way they look, I like the way they feel, but yeah, you're right, the executive or the management chair, very nice, very, very nice chairs. I love those chairs, very, very, very this much. So maybe if we could find a good deal on some secondhand ones, we will definitely consider those. Okay. The Raven says, I have a close friend who recently purchased a Herman Miller, and that chair was something else in a good way. Yeah, I think the people who have them are very happy with them in general, and I think you'll be hard-pressed to find people who are, very, very not happy with them. Now, I'm sure that there are other brands of chairs that are good, that, there's Steel Series or... I forget some of the other ones that are just as comfortable and maybe a lot less expensive, but for me, this is the one that I like. So when I like something, I stick with it. That's sort of it. The Aeron chair is plastic. CRAP. David says it is not. It is not plastic. I mean, there's plastic components, but this is very tough. It's not some flimsy material. You would be hard pressed to break this. Yeah. Okay. PBMC says, Brenton says, human scale. Yeah, human scale also makes some very nice chairs. PBM says, how long will the daily commute be?
Door to door, maybe 30 minutes, if that. Maybe
yeah,
less.
I don't. Yeah, maybe less. Probably in the 25-30 minute range. So not too far from us, thankfully. And we get to go to a rather nice neighborhood. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to getting to know the new neighborhood, finding some cool restaurants and things like that too.
It's got like a lot of like shopping malls around, and like that area we explored, hang out sometimes. But these are very like kind of made up area. And there's like, on the other side, there's the like old town. There's the, a little bit of like, just, like kind of a quiet area that maybe like we don't really go to as a destination, like, for a hangout.
Yeah.
But I would like to kind of figure out the new neighborhood, and there's always Chinatown as well.
Yeah.
Which,
Chinatown, Yokohama Chinatown is great.
Yeah, we go there often, but it's like, there's so many restaurants, and we don't know which ones like we like the most yet. So I think we're gonna find out.
That's it.
After we move.
Yeah, we often bring visitors to Yokohama Chinatown. And they're like, why are you bringing us to Chinatown? I'm like, yo, you're going to like this Chinatown. It's nice. Like, because, you know what? I have to say, like, coming from Toronto Chinatown, Montreal Chinatown, like New York Chinatown, like all the different Chinatowns I've been to in my life, like, they're all, I'm going to say it, they're all kind of run down. Whereas Yokohama Chinatown really feels like it's just like the bright lights and the neon, and like it's very well put together. I have to say, it has some of those like Chinatown little grungy places here and there, but
it's twofold, right? Like it's a touristic like aspect, and there's also like real Chinatown where like Chinese families live and run a Chinese restaurant, like for generations. So like I like that about Yokohama Chinatown. It's not all like brand new, but there are some parts that are kind of flashy and kind of like trend oriented. So like before, the thing to get, like if you go to Chinatown, was roasted chestnuts, and they do have those stands still, but like now they kind of transition towards like the big Taiwanese flat chicken,
big chicken,
and like candied like strawberries, and those are the things that like
sesame balls.
Like now they're like kind of trendy. It's kind of like a few years ago it was bubble tea,
right? Yeah.
Things like that. So that part is maybe a little less interesting, but having that organized, more like commercial, like like kind of energy. But like on the side streets, there's more like to explore. And that like aspects are like really interesting.
I just like walking around like Chinatown there. You got a big chicken in one hand, a bubble tea in the other. You're just eating and drinking, and then there's some more snacks, and you're just constantly going from stall to stall and buying all the different foods. It's very fun.
So what they're selling is like you can do that. You can sit down in a nice restaurant and eat a lot of Chinese food, but also you can like just go there and like eat snacks all day, and that's what they're selling. And I'm for it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I guess long story short, Wild Frontier Goods is in the chat. I'm late. You guys opening a location in Yokohama? We are. And so we hope to have everything open maybe by like late August, early September. It won't be like finished, but at least it'll be open.
Something to visit,
Yeah. So that's the aim, and of course, as we progress through all this, we'll give you guys the updates. I know next week, hopefully, we'll be signing everything. Hopefully, nobody backs out. The landlord wasn't offended by our little YouTube rant about key money.
I don't think he's watching.
Something tells me he's not watching. It's possible. It's possible. If it is, I'm so sorry. I should not have said that. I really apologize deeply.
No, but it doesn't matter. We're paying it. We're not gonna.
Right, we're gonna pay it, and we're gonna be great tenants for you. By the way, just really the best. We're not going out of business. We're going to the moon, maybe even past the moon. We're gonna circle around Jupiter, come all the way back. We're going everywhere.
But with that said, I just want to emphasize that this is not a store that you can just kind of pop by and shop. It's gonna be an office space with warehouse capabilities, and we'll have a little bit of a showroom aspect, but you're gonna need to make an appointment to come because we're not gonna be open all the time.
So anyway, we'll get all that appointment scheduling stuff sorted out for you guys. So when you do come to Japan, which I recommend in every live stream that you do, just get on that plane. At the most, it's probably only like 13, 14 hours away. It's a lot of miles away. It's a lot of kilometers away from where you are. But at the most, it's usually about 12, 13 hours away, depending on where you're coming from. So just get on that plane. The flight's not that expensive. And when you get here, everything is cheap. The price in Japan is very affordable these days. I'll tell you that much. So come. You might pay a little bit more for the flight. But when you get here, the food, the entertainment, all that stuff is going to be well worth it. And we hope to see you here. And we hope that maybe Japan Tourism sponsors us with a lot of money, maybe Yokohama Tourism, and that'll fund the office itself. Maybe with just that amount of money from Yokohama Tourism. Anyways, we'd love to hear from you.
One of the things we're looking forward to is like, putting together a Yokohama guide, like a surrounding, area guide, because that would be cool if you could just visit us and not have to go right back to Tokyo or whatever, just enjoy that area. So
yeah. Arif says, any plans for the FoxFibre Super Looper sweats?
Not at this time, but we did have a meeting about Super Looper for next spring. And I guess we decided on colors this week.
Yes.
So,
yeah. So we'll go through that in a second. Although I just want to hear David's comment. I like it. The Aeron chair is to a polyester blend hoodie, what the Eames management chair is to a Wonder Looper FoxFibre hoodie. I'm a design fascist. Don't be mad. Love you guys. We're not mad.
No.
Hey, I never get mad unless it warrants being mad. Disagreeing to me. We can have different opinions on different stuff. That's fine. And I especially like disagreements among people who know what they're talking about and are passionate about the things they talk about. Super Nintendo, I'm going to put it out there. Super Nintendo, better than Sega Genesis. That was the schoolyard argument when I was a kid. That was the big one. Nintendo or Sega.
And look who's winning now.
That's right. Nintendo was better than... Genesis was fine. It was fine. But it wasn't as good as the Super Nintendo. Chrono Trigger, Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, Super Mario World 1 and 2. What more do you want?
PlayStation or Xbox?
That's a tough one.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? Wow.
PlayStation 3 generation, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, I was more of an Xbox guy. I just liked Xbox more. I liked...
I thought you were going to say Xbox, but...
Yeah, I liked the Xbox more. I liked the achievements. I liked the ecosystem they had there. By the time the 360 Xbox One came out, I still feel like I played more Xbox One. I liked some of the backwards compatibility they had with older Xbox games. And then by this generation, I'm out. I'm PC all the way.
Interesting.
All PC all the time. And by the way, the Capcom Fighting Game Collection 2 just came out. Been playing. I got that yesterday. Capcom vs SNK 2. Been playing it a lot. That was I think my best Street Fighter game that I was ever good at.
Okay.
And I probably haven't played that in like 20 something years. All I can say is my fingers don't do. They can't do it anymore. I can play, and like last night I was playing online and just like getting some really cheap wins, but like my consistency with like doing special moves and supers, just can't do it. Just can't do it anymore. Maybe I just need some more practice. I'm just like, oh man, maybe I need a new controller. I don't know. But I've been having a lot of fun with that one.
Maybe we need like a little game, what do you call it? Like arcade machine in the office for you to practice.
We definitely do. You know what? When Garrett and Terry were here in Japan, I took them to like a retro arcade, and they had a Dance Dance Revolution machine, and I was like, "Hey, watch this, guys!" And I haven't really played in a long time. Like every now and then, like I'll get in the mood, and then I'll play, and then like I could maybe play some of the harder songs again. But like I haven't. Not only haven't I not played in a while, I haven't also exercised in a while. So my legs are like as stiff as hell, and like I put it on like one of the hardest songs, and like I get like 30% through it. I'm not number one. I'm like way out of breath. I'm just like dead, and then my legs just stop working. I'm like, I cannot do this. I could read the notes, I could read the steps, but my feet just wouldn't move. They just couldn't coordinate. old guy gamer. What can you do? I'm not really much of a gamer these days, just a little bit, but all old games. Okay.
Let's
Enough
go back
gaming.
to the spring talk.
Yeah.
The Super Looper, new colors. I
Sup-
guess
yeah.
we were talking about this a
Before.
long time ago.
Yeah.
And we didn't really deviate so far from that.
Yeah. So
But
we'll show them off. So this is, hold on. This is the color palette for spring summer 26, more or less. There's a little
this
variation.
Screen, this yellow looks
Orange looks a little yellow.
too yellow.
Yeah, but
it's gonna be different from Marigold. It's not gonna be the similar color.
It'll be more like what can I say? High vis orange.
Yeah.
Closer to that.
Yeah.
But this is
regular orange.
Yeah, like an orange.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got purple, like a vintage kind of purple.
Mm-hmm.
Orange, more of a like a Kelly green, I think. Maybe that's not.
More like a pine green.
Okay.
Rather than the previous one is a little bit more vivid. But this is a little bit darker.
Yeah.
More forest like.
Yeah. And then we've got the steel navy. So this reminds me of like old, like actual like navy sweatshirts or like collegiate navy sweatshirts. We've done some brighter blues before, like what Risa's wearing right now, but this navy is going to bring it back to like very, very classic land. Mm-hmm. And then burgundy comes back. Mm-hmm. That's the original burgundy from spring summer 25 that we released this season. You know, I guess our original plan with Super Looper is like, colors, one season only, that's done. But the demand for burgundy was just like, we want burgundy, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring you burgundy.
Semi-black, heather gray, those were like the colors that we were going to repeat.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we're repeating the burgundy.
Yeah.
It is a very classic color, and it came out really, really nicely.
Yeah.
So, we have a lot of colors here.
Yeah, a lot of colors.
I'm a little worried, but that's what we got this new office for.
That's why we got the more space. So we've got more colors. We are dropping the shorts. So the survey said we want sweatpants.
Yeah.
And I hear you. There's a couple, there's a couple of you out there. I really love the shorts, or maybe, the sweatpants don't fit me just right. But I understand that. I know that we can't make everybody happy. We can't make it, but we want to try to make as many people happy as we can. And clearly the call out was for sweatpants. So we are going to go that route. I understand that in terms of like general versatility, the sweatpants are much more versatile in that respect in terms of wearability. So we're going to go in that route, and this will be the first season of Super Looper sweatpants.
Yeah.
Now, between now and, us becoming Apple, world's largest corporation, I'm sure shorts will come back at some point. Between that gap, that's a big gap between where we are now and becoming Apple.
But I really hope that people would buy the sweatpants actually, rather than just saying that, because the 7 colors in sweatpants is going to be quite a lot of colors and SKUs. So hopefully it will all be worth it.
Yeah. Boris says jogger style or open cuff sweatpants. It's going to be open cuff like we have currently.
Although, when we make the sample, we could try and,
put a drawstring in there or something?
Maybe. It's possible. It's not too late.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the thing about like Super Looper is very athletic style.
Yeah.
We have the contrast zipper, tape, contrast, we
Cords.
always have contrast cords, but like, the zipper is more, it pops. I think it's the colorways, it's always a little bit more, athletic, sporty. So, I can see, the jogger style is, also, yeah.
We have to figure that out.
We do have to
that one's a little bit more like, I'm not sure which way to go. I can see both points very clearly. Mm-hmm. Open or tight.
But, as we've discussed before, if you just have either elastic or strings, at the bottom, you can always take it away as long as the holes are inside. Like you can wear it as open cup.
Yeah,
open,
right. If we do put the strings there, yeah. If you don't like them, just pull the string out.
Right.
And then it's your cup.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. I would just say that with the string, the problem is like when you have an elastic, when you take your pants off, it just comes off easy. But with the string, if you tighten it up, you're gonna untie it every time.
Yeah. Or put elastic, but have it accessible. Maybe there's a way to remove it.
Or maybe have an elastic cord. That way, like
that's what I mean. Yeah. So you or not the ones that you tie, but like the ones that You
have the little pull thing.
Yeah. So it's like you can remove, like you can only choose one time, but it's like once you choose it, like that's yours. Like you're not gonna be, you're not gonna.
No. But you can have like an elastic cord that has like a little draw pull, with the little toggle. And then that way, like, you can adjust it to exactly what you want. But, like, if you just want to pull it off, because it's elastic, it's also just going to open up. Because there's some give. Anyhow, we'll the little plastic toggle with the little push-down thing.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. I don't like those.
Risa doesn't like them.
I don't know.
So, anyhow, we have definitely some thinking to do.
That's too,
with that.
Like tech wear,
It is a little techie. Yeah, Arif says, my double works elastic bottom sweatpants have lost their elasticity. Yeah, that is the problem sometimes with elastic.
Yeah.
It loses its elasticity.
But you can't make sweatpants without elastic.
Yeah,
so,
you need for the waist.
Yeah.
But we have elastic and drawstring, so...
I mean, you could, but like that sweatpants, I think, in my opinion, sucks if you have to...
I own sweatpants that are just drawstring. It's very bizarre. It's like it is a bizarre feeling.
Yeah. It's like I get it, vintage, like super vintage style, like, but it's also not.
It's just like they unless they're like tied up tight, they fall off your butt.
Yeah.
And if they're tied up tight, like they just don't operate like you expect sweatpants to operate. So it's definitely weird. But yeah, it's anyhow, that's why we have both. But yeah. That part we'll have to figure out.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll call for another survey. But yeah, we're listening. We're listening. And Brenton's asking if there's a final run of shorts. At this point, I'm gonna say no. We are.
But it's not the final. The previous run of shorts, I don't think it's gonna be final run. Like we're gonna bring it back at some point. It's just not right now.
Yeah. Xavier says open, that they prefer the open and they like to keep it flowy. Jeremy Sims says black and or navy fleeced FoxFibre. Jeremy Sims, I will not comment on what might be a special release at some point. I will not make a comment on that.
I like where your head is going.
I like you guys. Okay. Okay. So that was the Super Looper colors. FoxFibre Super Looper. I will say that it is on the roadmap.
I can see that. Like everything eventually has to come in FoxFibre. I feel.
Yeah.
And that is a good, good plan. Not next year.
Yeah. So that is something we're definitely considering. Hold on, let me just check my list of topics to discuss because I feel like I might.
Yeah, new color-wise, we haven't talked about this at all. But I think this is just we decided on this, and this is such an exciting topic for me. Is the Ultimate Pima T-shirts? We're making new colors finally.
Yes.
So for the longest time we had it in white and black.
Yeah.
And they've been very popular. But at this point, maybe everybody has white and black.
Yeah.
And some people have many, many whites and blacks.
You know what I have to say is that the first couple of batches, everybody bought white. And I feel like all the customers that bought white, this batch bought black because black sold way faster than the white did. So anyhow, this is sort of how I feel like the situation went.
Because I think we made way more white because the white sold way better
in the past.
But this time around, I think everybody kind of flipped the script on us, and that's why we sold out of black faster. But with that said, we are introducing 2 new colors for Ultimate Pima next spring. Yeah. So that would be Ikuru. Yes. Which I think Ikuru is just something that people are really,
very passionate about. It's the new wave. People love. I think it's just people love white T-shirts, and Ikuru gives them another white T-shirt. Right? It's a little bit different, and it functionally it works a little bit differently because sometimes your stark white, it's great with like blacks and navies, but like your Ikurus are very good with your earth tones. Mm-hmm. So it's a white T-shirt that works better with earth tones. Your stark white works better with more
vivid colors.
More vivid colors.
Like Super Looper would go well. Although Super Looper has like Ikuru accents, so it can go either way.
Maybe go either way.
But with like things like FoxFibre hoodies, and people, maybe people want to wear that Ultimate Pima with that, and now we would have an option in Ikuru. Yeah. And another color we're making is the khaki. Yeah, the khaki green. Yeah. So you guys, we have khaki green in the double heavyweight. We've done it in the sweatshirts before. Yeah, basically this color. It's just this kind of like brown, little bit of green. Yeah. But earthy. Earthy, yeah. So it matches quite well with everything, and it's also maybe our most popular like alternative color, right? So like we do. I don't know. Yeah, I mean heather gray and gray sell well, but like as far as like colors go, like I feel like we sell a lot of khaki green. Navy, like it's very popular. In general, navy is very popular. But I feel that sometimes people have enough navy. Like we make navy because, it's popular. But everybody already owns something navy. So sometimes they feel like they don't need to add something extra. If you don't have that navy piece in your closet yet, maybe you're going to reach for that navy. But if you've got navy already, you're just like, I've got it. Maybe I want. And that's why we have like a lot of colors with our sweatshirts, because it's like, I want something fresh. I want something different. Right. Also, I think a lot of people wear jeans at on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So like if you're wearing like say dark raw denim or something, like maybe navy is a little too blue sometimes. Yeah. It goes better with if your jeans are more faded, and then you get that dark blue top. It looks really nice. So either way, we are making those 2 colors available. See where this goes. Mm-hmm. But I'm very excited. Right. So that's just some bit of spring summer 26 preview. Mm-hmm. Speaking of previews, we've got I don't know if review is the right thing, but the blanket line Indigo sweatshirt. So we've got a little bit of an update on that. Let me just get the fabric. The sweatshirt's over there, but it's easier to show the fabric, I think. So everybody knows this. This is probably the fabric that we've spent the most time on because it has seen so many changes over the course of its like creation. And so this is the Indigo blanket stripe French terry. It's got that indigo. Real indigo. So it's going to fade the yarn outside, and the middle layer is real indigo dyed. So it will bleed. It would fade. Yeah. It will age nicely. It's got that neppiness to it as well. And on the inside we have like a wool blend, yarn. So it's more of a like it keeps you warmer. It's a little bit of a cozy feeling, like wearing lining your sweatshirt with blanket kind of thing. That's the idea. Yeah. And so this is going to come in like all of our sweatshirt fits and sweatpants this fall. Yeah. Right. If you have been like following us for like 2 years, I know that you may have seen this in a different version. Yeah. Which was the red and like a gray kind of lighter gray kind of version. That was I like original thing. Mm-hmm. But I really like the reason why we changed the yarn's colors is actually because we couldn't get the the same yarns anymore.
Yeah, the availability, like in the middle of like, wanting to produce this, the people who made these yarns just stopped making them. They're like, well, we don't make them anymore. And so here we have like sampling and all that stuff already ready to go, ready to show it off for like a collection to book it. And they're just like, yep, sorry, can't make it no more. We're like,
but I think that was a very nice turn of events because when we picked this new batch of colors with, the brown and yellow, I really like this colorway a little bit more. And as it turns out, it's also like, because it's all like darker, it doesn't have a lighter color on the surface, you don't see the stripe as much. So, I think it was nice accident, I guess, in a way. And we were very pumped about jumping into this, and we booked the units from our wholesale customers, all of that. And then turns out we don't have enough yarns in one of the colors.
So the yarn supplier again decides that, what, we're just gonna stop making one of the yarns in this material. I guess that's the sort of the problem, like when you're using a lot of different materials to make one thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Just usually what you're making is like, it's just like inside yarn and outside yarn.
Yeah.
In this case, inside yarn has 3 different variations.
Yeah.
So
what has happened is that the indigo part of the yarn on the inside.
It's actually navy.
Oh, sorry, navy was discontinued. So they don't make it anymore. They're not going to make it anymore. And so we luckily we bought a bunch of it in advance. But it turned out it's not exactly enough. So the mill was like, whoa, we might need to change this. And, here are some other yarns that are similar, but they were similar, but not quite. And I didn't want to go and change it again, because you change it again.
Yeah, we also don't have time for that. We need to sell this for this fall. So, we didn't have time to test out and, make a sample roll and all that. So,
so we found a very clever solution to all this, right? And that is, we just have to change the pitch of the stripe pattern a little bit. There's going to be a little bit more brown, a little bit more yellow, and a little less indigo. And if we do it at just the correct ratio, we get the same color, practically the same pattern.
Yeah.
But we can make the navy part stretch out a little bit further if we just if it's just a little less thick in terms of the striping. So.
And if you didn't have this sample fabric, right, in your hands right next to the new one, I don't think you can tell a difference.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about that. People didn't buy this because of this exact ratio of stripes.
Yeah.
They bought it because of the general aesthetics.
Idea.
And that wouldn't change. So
that's a little
hiccups.
A little hiccup here, but
this is a very common thing in production. Sometimes, you think that everything is okay to go after sampling and doing all of these things.
Yeah.
Is still, can...
Yeah, things can still change. Yes. And that's sort of the complicated part of our job.
That's also kind of why, a lot of brands don't talk about anything until, they're ready to, they have the production. Right. Yeah. And, I think the appeal of our brand is that we talk about even the slightest idea that pops in our mind that can, maybe only become a product 2 years later.
Yeah.
But, that's a upside to this, us sharing so much. But there's also a downside where, we have to,
sometimes you got to make, you got to adjust things in there. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, I will say that, even back in Denim Land days, there would always be times where, okay, what happens is, we might project for a certain amount of, when we need to do the production for denim, we had to work so far in advance just because of the lead times that we just had to basically guess how much of this particular fabric we're going to sell. Like, are we going to sell 1,000 pairs? Like, we're going to sell 2,000 pairs? Like, you know, and that is in terms of like our wholesale like bookings. So what happens at the end of wholesale bookings, you realize that you've planned for 1,000 pairs, you sold 1,300 pairs, now you need to make up 300 more pairs. And it's like, you go to the factory and like, can you make 300 more like fabric for more? And they're like, yeah, not only can we not, but we also don't have the yarn anymore for this. Yeah. And like sometimes you just got to change. But at the very least, it's like, you know, if you're not, say, making a product like very specifically, like you're not saying that this is a particular cotton, right? Like, this is, Sea Island cotton, for example. Like if you're selling Sea Island cotton, you're selling Sea Island cotton. But if you're just, it's like a, you know, slub denim, dark on the outside, you know, classic white on the inside, that inside cotton can be anything. So it's easy to pivot. It's the complication really happens when like you are using something very specific and you're selling it based on that. So, yeah, when things change, you got to move with it. You got to find alternatives. You got to find a way to make it work. But, it happens all the time.
Yeah, and maybe I was very like misleading when we said like we already sold this. It's not that we sold this to the consumers. It wasn't a pre-order items or anything like that. This is just I was just talking about our wholesale customers. Yeah. So like the buyers from the stores that carry our products already, you know, bought and decided to buy this.
Yeah. Product, so. They'll pay for it in the fall, but they've booked it.
Placed the order.
They placed their projection order with us. So this is a fall winter 25 item. It'll come out probably September, October-ish, hopefully. If there's no more problems.
Yes.
Who knows? But that's the name of the game. Yeah. So Alain asks, is it too late to order one? It is not too late to order one. You will have an opportunity to get one this fall. I like Adam Brown says, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's true. I don't like problems, and I ain't got time for them, but you got to make time for them when you do. John Ake says, gotta keep you on your toes. Yeah. Production always keeps us on our toes. Yeah, it's going to be late. It's going to be this. It's going to be... Sometimes you get things early, like stupidly early, and it's like...
But we can't sell it because, you know, if we just have one thing.
Yeah. Like you know, I'm going to go back to denim days. Just, you know, for example, like maybe a jean is coming out. Like, you know, we planned for a fabric. It's going to come out in 4 fits. And just based on, like, sometimes the mill, they would send us, like, half the fabric, you know, at one time, and then 8 weeks later they're going to send us the rest of the fabric. That happens all the time. And so like ideally what you want to do is you want to hold on to that fabric and then, you know, do the entire production together just because the production line is going to be set up for that particular jean. But sometimes you just don't have a choice. It's just like I got production space here and then I don't have production space and I got some production space there. So you got to split the production up, but then you get like, you know, 3 fits of men's and 1 woman's, and then like 8 weeks later, you get the rest. But because you want to release everything all at the same time, you're just holding on to that stock, which, you know, I guess you could release it, but it's just a little bit more cohesive to release everything together. So.
And also, we have to think about our wholesale partners. You know, it's
some people want. You know, some people might have booked the fits that aren't coming for 8 weeks, and then these ones come in early, and it's like, well, why did that store get the stock and I didn't get my stock? It's the whole thing. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts you got to keep in mind. Mike in WPB says, sorry I can't stay, but congrats on The Office. Well, thank you. And thanks for popping in. No matter what, stay or go. You know, the live stream is here, and it's available for you to watch later on as well. So we appreciate you dropping in nonetheless. And dropping a like, everybody. If you haven't done that just yet, hey, we just hit an hour mark into the live stream, the 3rd live stream of today, because of all of the technical difficulties. And I'm sure we're not done with our technical difficulties yet. I saw a few little hiccups and delays on this stream, and hopefully they didn't bother you too much. But hit the like button, everyone. We really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm do its job, help people find this live stream who like the kinds of products that you and I enjoy discussing. All right, so that's my little pledge from me to you. Okay. what are we forgetting?
What are we forgetting?
Oh, you know what we haven't done? Fit check. Usually you do this a little bit earlier on the stream, but I just want to do my fit check today because I don't know if I showed this off, but you know, everybody, these are my dirty fades that I've been wearing for a while. Naked and Famous Denim True Guy Dirty Fade. You got my excellent phone fade here, but my knee ripped a couple of weeks ago, and Risa very nicely patched that right up for me. Little Sashiko style patching here. She did an excellent job with the repair, and I think it looks really cool. Brings some new life into these. I don't mind rips, but sometimes
it just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
I have jeans that I needed to have fixed the holes, and now it's too late, and it's just I can't wear it.
The only thing for me right now is that this phone fade is very loud.
Prominent.
And so I'm just hoping that more of the denim around here just fades out and it just becomes a little bit more uniform. Yeah, that.
Do you still put your phone there?
No.
Okay. So
that's my wallet fade from my wallet that I lost. But luckily I have the exact same wallet still. So that won't get reshaped. But I have a different phone because this was my Galaxy Note 20. And
it's long.
It's long. It's a big phone. Lately, I just don't put my phone in my front pocket. I keep it in my jacket pocket, which is today I'm wearing the Army HBT chore coat, Naked and Famous. You know, of course, faded very nicely. It's been worn heavily, washed a lot. And then my ELS recycled cotton slub T-shirt here in the heather gray, very comfortable T-shirt to wear. And I got the G-Shock, the all metal G. It's the two-tone with the brushed dial here. I don't know if that's a dial, but that area. So looks pretty cool. Two-tone. And that's it. John A says LMAO, like Cinderella's slipper for your wallet. It is. It's true. My wallet, it, at least, no matter what, all the jeans I've ever worn, like raw denim-wise, I've always had the same wallet. I've always had that. Every raw denim jean I've ever worn, I've only had that one wallet.
You've been with that wallet longer than you've been with me.
Yes, and longer than I've been a raw denim guy.
Really? Before raw denim?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what can I say? John says, watch bezel. Yeah, bezel. I guess the term is bezel. All right, Marisa, what are we doing here?
I am wearing my Super Looper first season. The what did we call it? I think we called it blue.
Just blue,
actually.
yeah.
So I have a stain somewhere. I don't know.
It's okay.
Crew neck, and then I'm wearing Ultimate Pima insides, just for comfort. Yeah. I'm wearing this, like, I think this was like the first ever sample of classic Naked and Famous 11 ounce 100% cotton indigo. It's just like I've been wearing this since 2015, 16, something like that. So it's so like just uniformly fading. Like I do get a little bit of whiskers, but like because it's lightweight, so soft, like you don't really like have a lot of prominent fades other than the train tracks. It's very prominent here.
Very nice.
And my phone hole. I put my phone here.
Your back pocket. Yeah, it makes more sense maybe. I'm always worried about like crushing it. I
have lost a phone like this back when the jean pockets are small.
Oh.
You know, like
right.
Like, you know, this is a high-rise jean, so it's not gonna pop out. But I have lost a phone when the rise of the jeans were lower and pockets were smaller, even though the phone was smaller. I used to lose it that way.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Guys, I also want to mention something because last week I talked about like downsizing my closet a little bit to fund a watch that I want. But here's the problem. I found another watch that I wanted. And
that's always how it works.
It's just the worst. I was talking to like Michael Iron Snail last night, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do, man? Like this is not a sustainable hobby. And like every little watch is like, oh yeah, I like that one. Oh, it's a different color. I can wear for this event, this and that, whatever. I'm.
To be fair, I think if you stick in the like G-Shock land or second-hand land, it's sustainable.
Maybe, but this watch, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna attempt it. So this one is from a company called Kurono Tokyo, and they are like, they're just an independent watchmaker. They make really, really cool watches, all made here in Japan, and sort of everything's kind of small batch, and I really like them for that. And so this is coming out like next week, and you basically got to be lucky to get it. Like, and the prices are reasonable. Like, this one is like $2,300 US, so it's not like the worst price in the world for like a fine watch. But you got to be on, like, you got to get on that like release time, because like they sell out in minutes. So I'm gonna try and get this one. I really like this design of the dial. I like the Japanese writing here, the kanji writing here.
I was looking at it. It's like it's so not the like, it's not the kanji for the numbers that we use, and I can recognize it, but it's all kind of, I don't know what this sets of. Anyways, it's interesting. Yeah. But also the fan shaped. Yeah,
I like that. It's just got this Japanese vibe to it. I mean, I guess quite obviously. This kind of looks like a Zen garden to me over here. The blue, it has like that Tiffany dial kind of look, but not that Tiffany blue. It's a little bit more indigo-y blue. And I really like it. So everything they make practically sells out. I mean, and anyhow, I'm hoping that I get lucky to get this one. So I'm, with the Grand Seiko that I want, which I still want, that's going to be funded by selling stuff. I'm just going to I'm going to make room in my closet. I'm going to turn things that I don't use into something that is a little bit frivolous. That's my position there. This one, I got to jump on. So the frivolous buy, who knows how long that's going to take, because I want to fund it with
only selling
things. Yeah, only selling things. Yeah, this one is a little torito for me. So I hope I can get this one. That's my new little obsession. I've been looking at it like all week since it got announced. Yeah. John says, in my opinion, a big move like you two are doing is the perfect occasion to commemorate with a watch. Yeah,
I guess so. I mean, like a watch is definitely like a milestone kind of, thing to buy. Yeah.
I like David Hunter here. David Hunt, H-U-N-T. Oh, sorry, Hunter. I can't see so well. He's a hater. I love it. The Power Reserve is similar to the Snowflake, but without the hideous Grand Seiko logo. I like the Grand Seiko logo. Just that little GS. I like it. We would have a fun coffee, I'm sure. If we just hate anything I like, you'd hate, and anything you like, I'd be like, nah, man, it's good. It'd be wonderful. A lot of energy in that conversation. Sebastian Pilje tuning in. Glad to see you guys get the shop. Well, thank you very much. We'll have the final, hopefully, nail in the coffin on that one when we have that signature put down this week.
Right. Hopefully this week. I don't know. Yeah. We haven't. We don't know the day yet, but
Nicholas says, none of the watch releases this year have caught my eye, so I'm getting my wife a Cartier tank for our anniversary.
Oh,
there
that's
you go.
Very sweet.
That is very sweet.
Because none of the watches you saw this year caught your eyes, or is it because you wanted to give her that watch? I think you got to get your story straight.
Yeah. And then we've got Ellen asking which Grand Seiko I want. Hold on, I gotta pull it up for you guys. There's a couple. To be fair, every time I go on their website, I'm like, there's more than one that I want. That's just the way they roll. They make nice things, and you gotta. They make you want it. Hold on, I don't remember the model number offhand of the one I want, but it's not the most expensive one they have, luckily. Hold on. Oh, terrible. Just show me the one that I want. That one's pretty. Oh, that's sort of the one, but that's a different color.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Boom. So this is the model that I want, but the dial is gray and not pink.
It's Heritage Collection.
Where does it say?
Go. Give me that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take charge here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Heritage Collection. Is it one of these?
Yeah, I think that's that one. Yeah, it's exactly that one. Yeah. So this is the one that I want right now. I just like that it has this like textured gray dial. I think it looks very handsome. And that's a beautiful watch.
I like that some of the lines are really sharp, and some of the lines are really like soft,
And I tried it on. It's titanium. It's super lightweight. I just think it's neat. Is it worth this? I don't know. I just, sometimes you see a thing that you like and then there's a price tag with it and you're like, eh. So I don't know. So like for me, this is frivolous land. I'm gonna fund it with just emptying out some things that I don't use anymore. Maybe they don't fit. A lot of things just don't fit anymore, and they have some value. So if I can muster up enough dough to put this together, I'm gonna do it. And then when I hit the Mega Ball lottery, that thing's a thing, right? You gotta buy this thing. This thing is just weird looking. I like weird looking watches. And look at this bad boy. This thing is weird. I just like all the like tough edges here.
Yeah.
Right?
It is cool.
It's a cool watch. Is it worth that much money? I don't know. That's not for me to say. But if I win the Mega Ball and I've got $80 million, sure. You know what? It doesn't matter anymore because money is just a concept. So I don't think I'll ever own this one unless somehow the good people at Grand Seiko. By the way, I do take bribes. Want to sponsor this video. One mention for a watch of this value. That's a pretty good trade. I think the audience would understand. Yeah. Okay. So that said, that's a little bit of my watch obsession lately. Like I said, I was talking to Mike. $500, $5,000, $15,000. Like it just goes in those increments. It just keeps going up and up and up. Like your next step is just the next step to the next price range. It's like, and
I feel like that's not 15, but that's like 30. I feel like 3 is the increments number because I got this for $30. There's a lot of watches. Obviously this was secondhand, but still, like brand new, you can get a watch starting. I mean, I guess starting at whatever, but like 30,000 yen. There's a lot of watch options.
Yeah.
And then it seems like 300 is like you get like
you get a decent start. Yeah. You can get a really good G-Shock for 300. Like you can get a secondhand like high-end G-Shock for $300. Yeah.
But also like it comes with like maybe like a better thing than $30 watch wouldn't like that's a like another step up.
Right.
And then like $3,000 that's just
Yeah.
And then
like
I feel like they
after
ultimately
$3,000, I just feel like you're in king. Like that's
but it's like it's not how much like like the king level, like Rolex level will cost.
I don't know what a Rolex goes for anymore. I have no idea, no clue. I never look at them. Right. I never look at them.
I can see like their main like range may be like touching $30,000. No, it's not 10. It's not 15.
I don't know. Can you get a Rolex for $10,000? I don't know. I have no clue. I have not looked at their prices in a long time.
Anyways.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Nicholas says, I really like the Grand Seiko Omi Watari. I have to check that one out. I don't know the model names of everything either. Sometimes I just like the way it looks. Don't know much more about it other than that. John says, Seiko is probably my favorite brand. They have a price range for everyone from $100 to Grand Seiko prices. Hope to one day grab a Grand Seiko or a vintage one. Yeah, I do appreciate that, and I appreciate that Seiko also, like, no matter if it's a $30 Seiko watch or a $30,000 Seiko watch, they still it's Seiko. Like it says the name on it right there. They're not trying to like hide it with some other brand or anything like that. And I feel like it's just not pretentious. Like, not that I think other watch brands are. Sometimes I feel that, like, I know that there are the people who like it for because they love the technical details of it, but there are also a lot of people who like a lot of luxury brands because of like the
recognizability.
Yeah. And I like that Grand Seiko is on like. I like the design first and foremost, but I like if I'm gonna wear like, sort of something pricey, I don't want it to be so flashy. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be like, wow, whoa, my God, it's not for me. I just keep it low.
And we went to like, take a tour at their factory up north, and we could actually see that like where obviously they built like a fantastic, beautiful factory there, and I'm sure that costed a lot of money, but at the same time it's like inside of it, like you can see that it's like really like a lot of like care and the seriousness goes into this. So
hold on, like we went here and like this is a rendering, but it looks exactly like this, and like you can go for a tour. And up here they have like a little gallery of all the watches, and in the back is like where the factory is.
Yeah, but it's like one side that's facing the mountains is all windows. Yeah. So even the people who work in this like super, clean, like no dust allowed kind of environment, they can also just look out and like it's a beautiful like view. Yeah. And like the way that they built it so that like people can focus and like do a good job all day, looking at tiny things is, I think to me, like that part is just like, that makes sense. Like you want people to be performing at the, the best state of mind. And in order to do that, maybe like, it's worth it to have like a nice view.
Yeah, beautiful nature and everything. It's really up in the mountains, like quite, like, like over here, like if they have another parts, like Seiko parts factory. But the employees here, I think they have a very, like, pleasant job, considering the kind of work that they do. They try to make it as like beautiful as possible. It's very technical work, but I guess when you're surrounded by the sereneness of the environment, and like when we went there it was wintertime, so like there were mountains just covered in snow and everything. It's beautiful. Nicholas Vilpu says 4,000 to 5,000 USD is where a lot of amazing watches, especially if you buy it secondhand. Yeah, that is definitely a good like price zone to get, something that might have had a much higher retail, but obviously the resale, a lot of this stuff is just not as high, and you can get a lot of value there for sure. Right. David says, have you ever visited Crador? Would love to visit them. The Crador Etchi 2 is a masterpiece. We have not. I see their watches every now and then. I don't know too much about them.
I have one.
You have one. You have one. Yeah. You have a little tank watch.
Yeah. It's like my grandmother's watch, I think. It's like very appropriate for like a funeral. I'm thinking I'm saving it for that.
The thing in Japan is like everyone's got like their funeral wear. It's like you have a black dress, you have a pearl necklace, you have like there's a very specific uniform here that you'll be on like the metro and you'll just see like a group of people and like I'm like, oh, they're either going to or just came from a funeral, and it's a very somber outfit. Like it's well put together. Like the right like amount of tasteful jewelry, and I'm like, that's a funeral. Yeah. Okay.
But one thing I heard somebody say is that like because everybody basically wears the same thing, same similar accessory, similar look, that like the quality difference of what they're wearing at that time really stands out, because like they'll be like sitting next to each other for extended period of time, and there's going to be like a lot of people like basically like it's just in one room. So it's the funeral is not a place to be
flashy
flashy or anything, but it is something to consider. It's just like especially if you're like higher in age and you need the maturity. Like you don't want to be showing up in a very cheap
like plasticky of all that stuff. It is definitely something to consider. Like I have no funeral attire, zero. Like I don't have black pants, I do not have a black blazer, I don't think I have a white button down that fits anymore. I definitely, like, every time, like, I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, man, I need to go, like, I need to buy this. Because when and if something happens...
Yeah, but the good thing about this country is that there's always, like, a store that you can go to.
Yeah.
When something happens, it's not like you have to go, run in the funeral attire. You know, it's just you have a day.
Yeah. David asks, what color do the brides wear in Japan?
White.
Yeah. Like, it's either, like... Western weddings are more popular now, like in terms of like, you know, big wedding dress, the guy wearing a suit and that kind of stuff. But like if they're doing like Japanese style, they still wear white.
It's traditionally white.
Yeah. Pecco Inc. says, so glad to catch your live stream. Well, thank you very much. Arif says, a Jaeger Le Couture. Classic Reverso, Coutre, maybe I'm saying that wrong. Anyhow, classic Reverso was my grail. Wife got it for me for my 40th from the museum store in Paris. The story behind getting it is just as cool as the watch. What makes it memorable? Yeah, definitely the journey to getting something sometimes is just as important as the item itself. And I'm glad that you got something that you really cherish that way. Every now and then, you know, we all have to do that, and I definitely appreciate that. I think that's sort of like, you know, on a very much smaller scale, it's like, you know, with Naked and Afraid with like the New York City jean or like the Montreal jean, like the City Edition jeans, it's just like, the point is like, you know, sort of kind of creating that special moment where you have to go and get it. You know, there's so much in those worlds you can just buy. Like if I want any of those watches, okay, I got a credit card, I'll buy up, you know. But there's something about earning it, or like going there, or like only getting it. Like, okay, we're only gonna make this watch once. Like, and you gotta, you know, there's something nice about that.
The physical trip aspect of it, I think, is very, very nice, because there's nothing basically that you can't buy on the internet now, and you know, it's just. But like, if you go to get it, like the memory of going there, you know, the visit itself, it's also the part of like the item that you get. So I think it's just a very nice way. That's why, I mean, you know, people tend to buy souvenirs when they travel. But like, if there's something that you cannot get on the internet, then that makes it that much more special. Yeah. So maybe we'll have to make something that is
special for the store,
in-person exclusive.
Yeah. Two good questions. Alan says, weight, is that Indigo fabric coming in double heavyweight, French terry, or super looper? It is actually, this fabric is actually its own unique fabric. It's neither the double heavyweight nor the super looper. You can see that the loops are there, but they're not quite as like randomly, you know, put out there, or like fluffy as the super looper, and they're not quite as thick as the double heavyweight either. So this is its own unique fabric. Somebody also asked what camera I'm using. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And now it's like a great vlogging camera and things like that, but it's also an awesome webcam because it can, you know, do that, which is really cool. So if you want to like highlight something real fast, it focuses in on it, which I really like that feature. BDS, is there anything traditional you will do to open your shop? I saw a new shop on Jean Street, Omoto Denim, was tossing out treats to people there and some ceremonial opening parts. I don't know.
Again, this is not a retail store per se, so I don't really know if we're gonna...
I suspect maybe some of our friends, not that we have a lot of friends here, but, you know, like when a new business opens up, generally you'll see like a lot of like flower wreaths like in front of the store, but like usually, you know, maybe someone will send us one of those. I don't know.
Maybe like a business partner. It's a very like business like thing. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but
I appreciate the gesture. It's just, I don't know.
I think a visit with like a, you know, maybe a cup of coffee would be
great. But as far as that traditional stuff, I don't know. Like, we're not going to break a big thing of sake and...
No, we're not doing like a party or anything like that, because, you know...
Like, our audience is right here, you know, online. You know, most, like, we don't have a lot of, like, even like in Japan, like, our customer base is like, it's all you guys. Like, it's all like... there's maybe like a handful of Japanese names, but it's primarily like if your address is in Japan, like you're a Western named person, like so like it like our like as far as like locals coming into the store, I don't think we have an audience for that.
Right. I mean, like our friends and family probably would pop by. And I like having a space that people can pop by that we would generally be at, like, I mean, our home is where we are always. And we're quite open with our home. But, I think having an office makes it a little bit easier to, accommodate visitors in general.
Brendan says, so what's the Wonderlooper Tokyo exclusive? Two things. Wonderlooper Yokohama, this different city, close to each other. I would say that it's like this is not an exact, comparison, but it's like the Toronto, Mississauga, New York, Brooklyn. Like we're close enough.
I would say this is more, okay, maybe if you don't know Japan, you don't know, but in Japan, the best equivalency is Osaka, Kobe.
Okay, well there you go, Osaka, Kobe. But if you are in the West, if you're in the GTA, the Toronto, it's Mississauga, it's Toronto. It's different, but it's kind of the same.
Well, the biggest difference is that whether Mississauga is a suburb of Toronto or has.
It's the sixth largest city in the country. It's a big place.
Yeah, but it developed as a suburb of Toronto, whereas I think
maybe Yokohama did not. Yeah, it has its own identity, but anyhow, it's.
Anyways, that's not a big point.
Yeah. As far as what it's going to be, we don't know yet.
We really don't know.
Give us a minute, and we will.
Maybe it will be, maybe it will start off as like something, sometimes we have gifts to give out.
Yeah.
Like a pen or whatever.
Or make a cut, like a patch or something, that we could put on the shirt.
Maybe that's something we start off with. I think eventually we want to have a product developed for in-store exclusive, whether that be just the color or they're a completely different thing. We don't know yet.
Yeah. We'll get there. We will get there, I promise. Nick says, I really like the extra small sizing on the latest FoxFibre t-shirt. Thank you very much. Brenta says, Wild Frontier Goods dyed Wonderlooper items? Possible.
But I feel like it would be hard to, like, it has to be in stock.
Yeah, it has to be, like, you'd have to pre-make it. Yeah. Anyhow. Or, like, maybe some leather goods, some wallets. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah. And Arif says, by the way, the Wonderlooper fountain pen is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are running low on those, by the way.
Yeah. I'm glad that people are using it.
Yeah.
I don't like when we have gifts that people don't use it.
Yeah.
We will have to figure out what's next because
they're running low. But I want to make more of those. I want to do other stationery items. Basically, I think
stationery is better than stickers because stickers,
whether you use them or you don't use them.
Some people put it on things, but other people don't at all. So I feel like something you can use is a little bit more meaningful as a gift.
So we might stay in maybe a notebook or something. Anyhow, we'll keep it in stationery lines so it's very useful to you instead of being nice. Hey, they're nice tchotchkes, and some people really like the stickers. They put them on everything. Some people don't. So I feel like nobody's gonna not use a pen, especially a good pen. It's not like a crappy pen. It's a good pen. It's a high quality pen. So anyhow, we'll come up with more goodies for the future as well.
We're doing the snack time.
Yes, let's do it because we've got something here. I have to say, the only reason I bought it was because I thought it would be gross. And when you hear what it is, you might also think it's gross. But we're going to find out together whether or not it is gross or not. I feel like the gross, either hot or gross, is really what gets you guys going. We were at the expensive fruit store the other day, and we saw some $11 single oranges. And I was like, I don't know if this is that exciting. I don't know if it's that exciting.
$11 is not shocking enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's expensive as an
Yeah.
orange,
Yeah.
but it's not like, oh my god.
They did have like $30 mangoes, and
They had $200 box of cherries.
Yeah.
Like sakurambo cherries.
yeah.
So that would be shocking, but I don't think we can spend $200 on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what we got here is cowpis, also known as cowpickle in the
It
North
sounds like
American.
cow piss, but it's not.
Yes, cowpis is like a dairy-ish drink.
Dairy soda?
Well,
Is it soda? I never touch it.
No. This is not the cowpis soda.
Oh,
It's
okay.
cowpis. So cowpis is like, it tastes like yogurty. There's some kind of like the dairiness in there. I forgot what the word is.
I
but
hate yogurt, by the way.
like it's like
hate it.
the good for belly
Okay.
bacteria kind of thing.
Sure.
Anyways, but I hate cowpis. I think it has a very weird aftertaste. And this one in particular is not just a regular cowpis. It is whipped cream, like cream.
Whipped cream?
No, whipped.
Yeah, whipped
Is
cream.
it whipped cream? Yeah, whipped cream pudding style cowpis.
So milk
Creamy,
Yogurt-based
puddingy
drink with whipped cream and pudding flavor.
So there's like some kind of like a cream like expert has watched over this project.
A
So,
cream expert.
yeah.
How do you get that job?
Or cream like cream store, like cream specialty store
Okay.
for cream.
Hey man, it's Japan. Cream specialty store. I like it. Hey man, you know, if we could be obsessed about jeans and white t-shirts, there's people who are probably just as obsessed about dairy and cream. So
I went to one time like a little cafe that was, I think, funded and like run by like a dairy association or some kind of things like that supports the dairy dairy farms in Japan. And it was so funny because like everything was just like, like this is how we run a farm and this is how cows live and all that like around us, and it's just like just eating like cream pasta and like drinking milk coffee and stuff like that. It's like a weird thing, but I guess they just wanted us to be positive about dairy industry.
Yeah, BD says, based that if you have to ask, you don't want to know. It's probably true. Nicholas Vilpu, I'm not really a fan of Calpis. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think anybody is.
It's
I don't know why
Calapisu.
it still exists. Only, anyways.
Yeah, so that's as appetizing as that drink looks. I mean, okay, it's not the worst.
It looks like
It smells
watered down
terrible.
milk.
I do not like that
it
smell.
tastes like a very milky.
I can
pudding.
smell the acid in the milk, and that's not a good thing.
I can't smell.
I can smell a little sharpness there. Okay, bottoms up, everybody. I'm not even gonna go bottoms up.
Oh, it's way more like yogurt.
It's very sour.
Yeah, but it's very yogurt. Like the taste is so much better than the smell actually, because the smell smells like milk pudding. I don't know if anybody had milk pudding, but that's kind of a regular thing in
No thanks.
in Japan.
Like
But
if you
yes.
taste, I guess I could taste the cream,
but
but
this tastes like yogurt, like drink yogurt.
I hate yogurt, and this just the whole flavor, the whole thing just tastes off to me. You know,
like
It's
yogurt with a hint of whipped cream in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they nailed exactly what they said they were going to do. You know, yogurt with whipped cream. Yes, it does taste like that, but I don't know if that's what you want in a drink. It's not what I want in a drink. It might be what you want in a drink.
But I like yogurt, and sometimes like eating mostly I eat yogurt, but there are like drinkable yogurt, and sometimes those are too thick. And this is basically like a watered down version of like yogurt.
There is something called yogurt water here, where they're just like, which I can actually drink because it just has like a hint of like yogurt taste, and to me that just sort of tastes acidic, and a little bit of the acidic in the water is okay. Sometimes you put a little lemon in the water, it tastes good. So it kind of reminds me of that. It's not as bad as like from someone who doesn't like yogurt. It's not as bad as like you think it might taste. But this is just the taste of yogurt.
Okay, I think Brenton got the right idea. It is like one of those things that like Indian culture probably have.
Yeah. Like
Indian,
lassi and things like that. Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if you can cook with it. I don't think so. You're not cooking with this. Okay, now on a score of 1 to...
Oh, Luxtavia. Luxtavia is not the things that I'm thinking of.
No.
Lassi.
Yeah. Now, as far as score goes, this is a hard one to score because...
It's actually not as bad. The smell is so much worse.
It's, I don't know. I'm going to put it... It's like a 3.4.
Okay. I was thinking 3.9. I was thinking first like 4, but it's like it's not quite 4. Yeah. It's not something I would buy again.
Yeah. It gets that rank because I don't like yogurt. If you like yogurt, this... I'll be fair. If you like yogurt, this might be the flavor for you.
I like yogurt, but the extra creaminess, like putting this in this, is just unnecessary.
And Risa loves whipped cream, by the way.
I do.
If we go to anywhere where they have like, is it Wiener coffee? Like the German style?
I tend to order it
if
I can afford it in terms of like, calorie
Calories.
intake. I am a little bit of Leslie Knope that way. I like
true.
whipped cream.
So, yeah, low rank on me. I don't like yogurt. So, if you're in Japan right now, you might find this in the stores for a while. This is not going to be around forever. This is not a forever flavor. Here's a fun fact about Japanese bottles that you might not know if you're from the West. That we recycle bottles here like almost religiously. And there is a difference between putting this in like plastic. So there's bottle recycling, which you put like like glass bottles and plastic bottles in. But the thing about these things is that like the outer plastic is not supposed to go in there. You're supposed to remove that and put that in plastic recycling. They're very you got a lot of different kinds of
but different what's it called? Like municipality have different way of recycling things.
Like
so.
In our house, we have to separate paper, bottles, plastic, and garbage. So there's 4 bins for us.
But plastic bottles and like glass bottles and cans go into the same thing.
Yeah.
I guess they separate it themselves.
But before this goes in the bottle bin, you got to take the plastic off. And most drink brands in this country have like an easy tear away sort of it'll have like a little perforation here. So you could tear this off really easily, and you can put that in the recycling very easily.
And the cap goes to the same as the label.
Yeah.
But because the way the cap is made, that ring stays on the bottle. And I used to stress about it. I was like, I know that this has to go with the other,
plastic.
Yeah. But I can't remove, the ring all the time. And I think I saw something that were like they
hiccups here with the live stream this week. Hopefully we won't have those problems again. I'm going to refine my setup here, see what went wrong. I'm not sure, but what can I say? It's been a great one. We started a little bit late, but we managed to pack all the information in nonetheless. A lot of fun chats and comments from you guys. We'll end off with a couple of last little questions here. Kasim G writes, favorite Ghibli movie, and can we expect a restock on Super Looper French Terry Crewnecks soon? For the restocks for Super Looper, next spring.
Year, yeah.
Unless we've asked our factory, like, hey, you got any fabric left over, anything, like, they're looking. I sincerely doubt it, but if there is, maybe we'll get a little bit more. Sometimes there's a little overproduction, then they don't tell us about it, and then they tell us, hey, we actually have some fabric. Anyway, I told them to go double check. chances are very slim, but Super Looper will be back again next spring. The next batch of releases is probably going to start around August, September.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as my favorite Ghibli movie,
Oh, I don't know the answer to this.
that's
question.
a tough one. I like Princess Mononoke. I like that one. That's probably my favorite one. I'm gonna go with that one. I like the action. I like the animation. I like those little wormy things that seem to grow uncontrollably.
I'm just, because Ghibli movies are something that I grew up with as a child, so I'm gonna go with my childhood favorite, which is Totoro. It spoke to me very strongly. And I know Ghibli makes like more serious movies that are deep, like Princess Mononoke, like Spirited Away, like all those things. But for me, it's the cuteness
All right.
of Totoro.
Well, there you go. John says, I'm so happy you said that. I loved that one growing up. There you go. Everybody, it's been great. If we didn't answer your question on this stream, we will answer it again, perhaps on another one. I know we missed a couple out there, but we'll be back again soon. Thank you very much for everybody tuning in. We'll be back again next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully no hiccups next week. And we hope you guys have a good weekend. Do something nice for yourselves and do something nice for somebody else. We'll see you guys again real soon. All right.
Bye,
Bye everyone.